What's up, family? It is I, Key, and welcome to Kiki's Critique. I am so excited to be back with you guys again today. Y'all, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm looking out at the window. We had our first snow the other day, and it's so beautiful. I can still see snow on the rooftops, and it is so beautiful. And I have my robe on, and I'm just feeling really um, excited about this message. And I've been praying a lot about this message that we're going to be talking about today, which I feel honestly in my heart that God wants me to kind of sit here and talk about this. We're going to talk about this for a couple episodes, okay? Because this is rich. This is um, something that I feel that we need as the end of the year, guys, is upon us. This is the last month of 2020, and 2020 have been a year. And I know many of us have had and expressed emotions and feelings that we probably have never, some of us maybe have never felt these feelings before. Others of us maybe just like, where did it come from? I thought I buried that thing. You know what I mean? And then others of us is probably just in shock because we have not understood that there's more to us than just all roses and peaches and creams, okay? We also have a dark side to us that we have to fight against on a regular basis. There is a flesh that houses our spirit, which is the beautifulness of who we are. And this flesh gets a lot of information from the outside world that can cause us to respond and deal with one another in a very negative way. And so today I wanted, God wanted us to talk about one of those negatives that really hinders us, prevents us, and sneaks up on us, like has to be dealt with on a constant, regular basis. And we don't even realize, like, forgiveness is something that has to be a constant move in our life. We have to constantly be forgiving things. Like, if not, then we will have a pile up of stuff that will cause rage and frustration and anger. That's how people snap, because they haven't forgiven things. They haven't forgiven offenses. They just have kept them and carried them. Somebody did them wrong. They held on to it. This person stepped on their foot. They held on to it. This person, looked at them funny. They held on to it. 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 They held on to it until one day they had a bad day. They haven't forgiven none of that other stuff. That stuff has been lingering as vengeance, as unforgiveness, as grudges, as spitefulness. I mean, that stuff has just been lingering. They've been mad about that person who stepped on their foot in fifth grade. Okay, that person who teased them in fifth grade, they made it through. I'm not talking about bullying. Children are mean, and bullying kids. That's not that has to be dealt with. There needs to be forgiveness in that within self and everything else. So this is about all of that, all of those things that has happened to us that we have not found a way to forgive. All of the offenses, every wrong thing that has come to us that we have not dealt with, that we have not released because we haven't forgiven those offenses. Wikipedia defines forgiveness as the intentional and voluntary process by which a victim undergoes a change in his feelings and attitude regarding an offense and overcomes negative emotions such as resentment and vengeance. Forgiveness means that I'm giving up my want and my temporary need to want to hurt you because you hurt me. Forgiveness is saying that I'm going to leave that offense where it is, and I'm going to continue to move on with my life. I'm not going to stay in the place of where that thing has happened to me. Whether I don't care how tragic it is. There is nothing that has ever happened to you that cannot be forgiven if you choose to forgive. Nothing. I don't care whether it's rape, murder, whatever. It ain't nothing that can't be forgiven. Nothing. It's about our own ability to release those offenses. To say, you know what, I'm not going to carry what you did to me. That's not my burden to carry. Why do I have to feel bad for something that you've done to me? Why do I have to feel bad for something that I've done to myself? Ooh, let me sit back a little bit. I can't even get that far back. Why we got to feel bad for something that we've done to ourselves? Why do we have to carry the weight and the load of what has been wrong to us, no matter where those offenses has come from? Forgiveness is releasing. I've done things to myself. Okay? I felt that I've allowed things to happen in my life that had caused me to feel self-destructive over. Like I wanted to hurt me because I allowed something to hurt me, because I wasn't strong enough or didn't love myself enough or know who I was enough to entertain a bad relationship or a situation or did something to myself that maybe was not the most loving way. I allowed some things to happen to me. You understand? Because of my love for myself, because I didn't forgive myself because of the abuse that I endured as a child. Because sometimes we are carrying unforgiveness for ourselves for something that we had no control over. And I'm not saying that, I'm not giving us a free pass to run around and mistreat people and just think that, forgiveness just coming. I should just forgive myself. Girl, I done called you, boo-boo the fool. I called you ugly, girl. And so, I'm going to just forgive myself and move on. I'm not talking about a blatant disregard for a human's feelings and emotions and right to be respected and loved and honored and reverenced. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when we slip and stumble and fall and you having a bad moment because you let unforgiveness carry you until tomorrow. Because see, generally when we attack somebody, when we come for somebody, is because we're carrying unforgiveness, whether it's unforgiveness towards ourselves or that particular person, or maybe it's the thing or or what that person represents. Because we don't war against flesh and blood. You're not my enemy, and I'm not your enemy. Our enemy is the things that we do or that happens to each other, and that we allow to happen to each other because of our ignorance and our inability to reverence what that thing is. And that can be the enemy, the devil, that can be our flesh, that it could be our dark side, our soulless nature, whatever you want to, our yang to our yin. I mean, whatever you want to call it, the negative to our positive, there's a war that goes on within our very being that we have to constantly forgive ourselves and fight through, because it will take over. I'm telling you, you could have done something to me that I hadn't forgiven and didn't even know I didn't forgive. Didn't even know it until something rises up in me and you do something to bother me, and the next thing you know, I'm kind of coming for you. That means I didn't forgive the last 15 things or 10 things. Because for me to get to that place where I got to deal with you, that means that I let a whole lot of stuff slide. Like I stopped counting your wrongs. You feel me? And then other stuff just comes. It just starts to pile on top. Like I have forgave the first 20, and then the last this next 10 just kind of laid on top of some other stuff that I already forgiven. See, that's me. It takes a lot to get me to a place where, like, I gotta deal with you. I mean, that's just me. And that has nothing to do with unforgiveness. That just means that I'm gonna deal with you, and then I'm gonna forgive you, and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, so let's talk about let's dive in a little deeper, guys. Okay, so I was thinking about, we've heard that term that says, or the quote that says, forgiveness is not for us. It's not for the other person. It's for us, right? Like we forgive people who wronged us, not for them, but for us. And that's hard to kind of understand and hard to fathom. And that was part of the part of this beginning to talk about forgiveness that I really want to tap on, because that's true, and at the same time that's a little bit deeper, because, like, for an example, forgiveness only isn't about the other person if we're choosing to let them go. Like, somebody can hurt me and I can forgive them. Like, girl, I forgive you. Like, I love you. I just want your life to be prosperous. I want you to be good. Like, let's just not talk. Or, you can't come over here because I can't trust you. And I don't know. And I don't have the time or the energy, so I got to say goodbye. And you know that you've released that person. You can see that person and say hello. And there's no beef and there's no animosity and there's nothing, because you forgave them and you freed them from your life. But there's also a forgiveness that is not about the other person when you want that person to stay a part of your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about your husband or your wife cheated on you. I'm talking about a strong betrayal from somebody that you trust. But that even though this person has betrayed me, that there is something in here and in our relationship that is worth preserving. But that only takes two parties. That only takes an equal effort. That only takes the offender to really, face up to their crimes and be willing to, face their punishment and dealing with the hurt that it has caused you, in an honest way within themselves, and also to deal with the remorse. The feeling, and the remorse is what it did to them. Because anytime someone hurts us, in order for them to be remorseful, it has to have hurt them too. Or if not, then they're heartless. Like, I can't hurt you without it's going to hurt me. Because I don't want to hurt you. So if you come to me and say, Key, dang, you did X, Y, and Z to me and this hurt me, blah, blah, blah. I'm hurt. I'm going to have to deal with this now. Or I done something or said something, and then I later just be like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Where did that come from? Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why? And it makes me question my very character. That's remorse. And I feel those are actions that has to be displayed in order for me to forgive, in order for me to expect to be forgiven in a relationship that needs to be lasting. Come on, y'all. I don't know, who this is for. I know when I talk my messages, they're for me as well because God put them in me. I can't wait to continue and to dive in deeper into forgiveness. But I really want us to start questioning when we are angry at someone, when we um uh our feelings about what is happening in our relationships. Think about, is there any type of unforgiveness that's going on that you have to release? Because in order to be of help and of service and to approach anything with a right heart attitude, to really because we're supposed to trust God, right, and love people and help one another. And the only way that for me to keep my heart right is I have to be constantly forgiving because I have to be free. Because if I'm not free, then I'm weighed down and I can't fly freely and help and do everything I need to do if I'm bogged down with unforgiveness, resentment, all kind of craziness, negative emotions, and backbiting and having just bad things going on in my personal life. And just because I feel like whatever happens in our personal life, it's going to show through. Like if you a nasty person behind the scenes, baby, you ain't gonna be able to come before me or anybody else too long without it being shown through. Because I'm praying for that type of stuff in my life. And I don't want to present myself to anybody where I'm not even coming to you authentically in 1,000. Come on. Forgiveness, guys, giving up the right or giving up because when I say giving up the right, that's deep in itself. Because when someone has come for us, don't we have the right to respond? If you attack my family, don't I have the right to come for yours? Isn't that my right? Is it? Is that my right? Is it really my right to respond to you the way that you respond to me? It is. Because God gave us a choice. I mean, he said we can turn the other cheek or we can fight in battle. Either way it goes. He will anoint that thing. Because you ain't going to keep coming upside my head. But also, I'm not going to be a fool because here's the thing. If I'm in a position, this is not like I just met you on the street. Because that's another whole type of situation. But it's still forgiveness. Whether you were attacked by someone you don't know or someone you know. It's our right to choose how we're going to respond to what has happened to us. We're going to dive in next week, guys, or later this week, Saturday. I'm going to do some praying, and I really want to dive into this. I really want to get this message across. I want to get whatever God is trying to get across. I pray that is coming up strong in me, and even though I may fumble over my words, and that's because I don't want to be here. I always want to be here. And anytime I find, if you feel me fumbling, that's this and this. That's my mind and my heart. When I'm fumbling, that's my mind and my heart. When I'm in the flow, my heart is flowing. You already know, baby. It ain't no smoking, ain't no fumbles. I'm just giving it, boom, boom, boom. And it's just, but when I'm fumbling, that's because I'm second guessing what I'm saying because I have, a certain amount of feelings to people please. And that's a whole nother conversation. I don't even know why we getting there either. Amen. All right. So we're going to talk about forgiveness next week, guys. Thank you for joining me. This YouTube, I'm really appreciating this ride with you all because this is allowing me to look at myself and be able to come before you all and come before myself as I am. Like, there's no do-overs, because there's no do-overs in life, so why should everything that I even present to you all be edited? Because I can sit here and just edit this thing to pristine precision, where there's no flaws, there's no mistakes, you don't see nothing, the complexion looks good. I mean, like, literally, we can do all of these special effects. However, what does that serve you or I if I'm not speaking from my heart and telling you what I think about and what goes on in my mind, and give you the content that is important to me? I just pray that it's important to you, and that's in due time and season. So, all right, I'm through rambling. Happy Wednesday. Until Saturday. Bye.